Emmanuel Macron has won the first round of France's presidential election. Moments after voting ended, the projected results were beamed into his Paris headquarters.
We are very happy with this result. We fought for this. We have been behind Emmanuel Macron for months now, and we are really happy that it's ending like this.
He's going to win the second round. There is no question anymore.
Emmanuel Macron quit the government last year, formed his own party and ran for the presidency. It wasn't a shot, it was a gamble, but it's paid off. He's through to the second round, the French presidency now within touching distance. Macron has run a maverick campaign, positioning himself as neither left-wing nor right-wing and promising to modernise France. He's captivated the country.
My dear countrymen, today, Sunday, April 23rd, the French people spoke, as the country is going through an unprecedented moment in its history, marked by terrorism, economic challenges, social suffering of workers, and urgent environmental problems. They've responded in the most beautiful way, by voting en masse.
But the race for the Elysée is not over. Macron will face off against far-right candidate Marine Le Pen in the second round on May the 7th. He's expected to beat her, but a win for Macron is by no means guaranteed. Hoping to prevent a shock Le Pen victory, François Fillon from the Republican Party and Benoît Hamon from the Socialists, who are both out of the race now, urge their supporters to vote for Macron in the second round.
Well, earlier we spoke to our correspondent Jack Parrock in Brussels, which is home, of course, to the European Union headquarters. He's told us that Emmanuel Macron has support from EU officials.
Here in Brussels, in the European Commission and the Council, and pretty much across the board of European Union capitals, it will be Emmanuel Macron who has the support of the political parties and the governments as well. And that's because he's pro-European. It's as simple as that. The dichotomy between the two candidates couldn't be more severe. If Macron gets in, the EU will feel stable. France is very likely to remain a member, at least until the next election. And that means that the two remaining big powers of the European Union, Germany and France, with the UK having just left, will remain in place, whereas obviously Marine Le Pen's idea is to try and get France out of the European Union and out of the euro. It will be watched very intensely, this runoff election, presidential election between Macron and Le Pen now. And basically, from the European Union's point of view, Macron's win, if he does win, will keep things going business as usual, and Marine Le Pen's win will throw the whole project of the European Union severely into question.
We're joined live by our correspondent, CGTN's Kate Parkinson, who is live for us there in Paris. Kate, of course, attention now shifts to the May 7th runoff. How is that race shaping up, and what can we expect?
Well, the battle has begun once again. Far-right candidate Marine Le Pen returning to subjects that she is very familiar with. She's been speaking out about the ongoing threat of Islamist militancy here in France. These are themes that she returns to again and again as she tries to remind voters why they should back her. And she's been calling her opponent, the centrist candidate Emmanuel Macron, weak on these issues. She's really hammering home that message as she returns to campaigning. Meanwhile, Emmanuel Macron picking up some pretty high-profile backers along the way across the political spectrum. We've had politicians, former candidates, the French President François Hollande saying they will vote for Macron in the second round. What we are seeing is an attempt, as I said, across the political spectrum to try and summon up what is called in France the Republican Front. This is a cross-platform anti-far right alliance that forms to block the Front National. It's happened before in the past. It happens pretty much every time the Front National get close to executive power. Whether it's going to work remains to be seen. Certainly a lot of voters who didn't vote for Macron, they voted for the other candidates, not Le Pen, but the other candidates that have been knocked out, might find it difficult to back Macron. For many, he's too liberal. For others, he's not liberal enough. For some, his reforms go too far. For others, he doesn't propose enough radical reforms. So many voters might decide, instead of voting for Macron, they're going to stay at home. And that could be very bad news for Macron and very good news for Le Pen. Although at this stage, the polls are still predicting that Macron will win this second round. He's projected to come out with around 60% of the vote and Le Pen with around 40%. But the second round is not for another 2 weeks, and 2 weeks is a very long time in politics.
Indeed it is. And as you say, it's an uphill battle for Le Pen, and the gloves are off, as Kate Parkinson there says, joining us, of course, from Paris.